Okay, now that we finished the body, we're gonna do something different. Normally, I would go straight onto the head and make the head. But because we want to add a collar here, which a collar here, it becomes hard when the head is already on the doll. It's a lot of maneuvering your hands and doing things to get to the stitches. So instead, what I like to do is when I have something so close up to the head, like I do this collar right here, which it's not there yet, but it will be. I like to do the collar before I do the head. So my yarn is still attached. I have not done anything to the yarn except for loosen it. I'm going to put a stitch marker here so that I don't lose my stitch. And that's all I'm going to do to that yarn. That yarn will remain there. You keep your working yarn on your project. And then you go and do the collar. So you get the dress color and you turn your doll upside down. So my first stitch is going to be this stitch right here because I'm going to be working in the round like this. So this will be my first stitch right here, and this one here will be my last stitch. So I'm going to attach my yarn, my yarn here, and I'm going to do chain 1 to attach it to thing. I like to keep a long tail because I'm going to have to use a needle to, actually I don't have to use a needle. I'm just going to leave it like that. It doesn't have to be a long tail. Okay, so I attach my yarn by doing a chain. And give this a little tug so everything is nice and tight and nothing is loose. Now that chain doesn't really count for anything, so we're going to go back into the same stitch like this and do a double crochet. Who would have thought a double crochet would be harder to do looking through a camera than a single crochet? All right, so I do 1 double crochet, and in the next stitch I do 2 double crochet, so a double crochet increase. Okay, I got the right stitch. Whoops. All right, a double crochet increase, and that's the repeat for the round. We're going to do double crochet increase, and we're going to do this 15 times. So 15 times we're going to do this, which is double crochet and double crochet increase, until we get to the last round. So I'm going to let you go to continue doing your double crochet and double crochet increase. If you feel like it's hard to pick up your stitch, then stuff the body a little bit more and it'll become easier because it'll push the front loops out a little bit and you'll be able to pick up your stitch a little easier. I feel like I need to stuff it a little bit more. I'm going to stuff it a little bit more so that I could pick it up a little easier after I finish this double crochet increase or increase. Almost dropped my hook. There you go, stay with the scissors. So this is a good trick to have anytime you need to work on the front loop. You'll find it's a lot easier to work on the front loop if your piece is stuffed. It just helps push out the front loops a little better. Oof. Try not to shake the table. I'm trying not to touch the thing. It's a balance, man. It's a balance. All right. I'm going to do a little bit more stuffing and I'll show you how much easier it is to find the front loops. And then I'm going to let you go and finish the round. So here we are. See how much easier that is? I don't know if you notice it, but I certainly do when I'm feeling it. 1, and then increase in the next. I feel like I'm in the same stitch. No, I wasn't. 2. Well, 2 meaning like doing my increase. And so just continue doing double crochet, increase until you're at the end of the round. And then come back and join me. Okay, I'm back. I did 1 double crochet and then 1 double crochet increase all the way around. And right now I should have 45 double crochets. Now, if you made a mistake and you don't have 45 double crochets, I wouldn't worry about it. It's fine. You don't need to have exactly 45 double crochets, but that's how much you're supposed to have in the round. Okay, so I'm going to be putting a stitch marker here, but first I want to deal with this end. Now, if the head had been closed, I would obviously be sewing it in. But since it's not closed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hook and go in there. Sorry, I have to, there we are. I had to get off camera so I could see what I was doing. So I'm going to go in there and I'm just going to hook the end and pull it through. I let go too early, but that's okay. You can see there's the loop here. So if I put it all the way, it's in now. All right, so now that I've dealt with the end, let's finish the collar. Now I'm not going to do this on camera. I am going to put 1 double crochet into this first double crochet right here, and then 1 double crochet in each. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble seeing on the end of through the camera. All right, so I'm going to put the taller this doll is getting, the harder time I'm having with my camera. Okay, so I'm going to put 1 double crochet into this double crochet, and I will mark it as the first stitch of my round. If I can. All right, and then I will do a double crochet in every double crochet. So 45 double crochets. Again, if you have like 44 or 43, you don't need to worry about it. We're not going to be working on this again. It's okay. Just do 1 double crochet in every double crochet that you have, or 45 double crochets for 2 rounds. So when you finish round 3, I will join back with you. 1 double crochet in every double crochet for 2 rounds. And then I'll join back. Okay, I'm back. I did 1 row. I just realized I was misreading my pattern when I mentioned it. This collar part is 2 rows total. So you do 1 of the 1 double crochet increase, and then you do 1 of 1 double crochet in each round. I'm going to try to remember to write that down in the tutorial because I said 2 rounds by accident. Okay, so now I'm at the end, and so I need to finish off. It's jarring if you finish it off right now because of all, you have all of this left, right? So what I like to do is I continue onto the round. We are at the back of the doll right now. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to work a half double crochet. And then another half double crochet. Then I'm going to do a single crochet, another single crochet, and then I'm going to do a slip stitch. And now I'm done with the collar. I'm going to cut my yarn, leave enough. Whoa, this is hard to do. I'm going to leave enough to weave in. I like to leave long tails because I always end up having trouble whenever I have leave the tails too short. And that's our collar. This is what it'll look like. I'm kind of confused. I think this yarn might be a little stiffer than this one, because in this one it's kind of roughly, and that one is. Okay, so now we've finished with the collar. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of a break from the head, and we're going to start working up our eyes. So I have already worked one up. This is what it looks like, and now I'm going to work up the other one with you. So you start off with the magic ring. And you're going to work 12 half double crochets into the magic ring. Oops, it's split. This yarn with such a small hook, I don't know how it would be with the regular hook, but with this big, small 2.25 millimeter hook, it's kind of splitty. So there you go, it's split again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I worked 12 half double crochets into this magic ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So now we're going to take our safety eyes. For me, with the yarn I'm using and the hook I'm using, I decided on using a 10 millimeter eye. So this is a 10 millimeter eye. It's one of the brown eyes. And you just put it right there in the middle. And then, where's the end? There it is. And then you take the end of your magic ring and you pull it tight around the safety eye. So there we are around the safety eye, and then we're going to finish the round by slip stitching onto the half double crochet right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so this is the first stitch right here. Sometimes it's hard to tell if you don't chain the... All right, I'm going to do this a little off camera, so I think, yeah, oh, I got it. Okay. Okay, I didn't get it. Let me do it off camera where it's not the same level of awkwardness. Okay, here we are. I got the hook in. I'm going to slip stitch. Now this slip stitch counts as the first stitch of round 2. So we did a slip stitch right here on this stitch. We're going to do a double crochet into the same stitch. So okay. Now we're going to do a double crochet into the next stitch right here. And we're also going to slip stitch into this stitch. So that's what we're going to do for the entire flower around the eye. Is we're going to do a slip stitch. Where is it? Ah, that really split. Slip stitch and then double crochet into the same stitch. Hold on a second. As you can see, the yarn is splitting like crazy. The first eye, it split. This yarn is it's loosely wound, and it did split, but not like this. All right, so I did the slip stitch over again where it was splitting, and now I'm going to do the double crochet. Come on, don't split. Hey, it's supposed to be a double crochet, not a half double. Hello. All right. So we're going to do this pattern all the way around. We're going to do it 6 times, which is a slip stitch, double crochet, then double crochet, slip stitch. So we're at the slip stitch, double crochet. So the next one is going to be a double crochet. And then in the same stitch, we're going to do a slip stitch. Again, we're going to do a slip stitch in the first one, and this one, next one. So one good way to remember what to do is the stitch that you end with, your increase with. This is really awkward. I know it's been awkward the whole way through, looking through a camera. I've mentioned it before, but for some reason this one is even more awkward. All right, so if we end with a double crochet, then the next stitch we start with is with a double crochet. Again, we ended with a slip stitch, so the next stitch is a slip stitch. We start with a slip stitch. And then double crochet into the same round. Same stitch, same round. Double crochet into the next one. So it's double crochet, the first stitch. Okay, let me just put this down and then I'll say it properly. You start off with a slip stitch, then you do a double crochet into the same round. You start off with a slip stitch and then you do a double crochet into the same stitch. Then you do a slip stitch. Okay, so this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to start off with a slip stitch and then you're going to do a double crochet. The next stitch that you're going to work on, so this is the slip stitch and double crochet, we're in one stitch. The second one you're going to work on is going to be a double crochet and then a slip stitch. Then you're going to do a slip stitch, a double crochet, slip stitch, all the way around. So each stitch, each of these 24 stitches will have a double crochet and a slip stitch in it. The orders just change. Sometimes we're going to have the slip stitch first, and sometimes we're going to have the double crochet first. So where are we now? I just did a slip stitch into this stitch, so now I have to do a double crochet into this stitch. Double crochet again, and then a slip stitch. I apologize for any noises, but I am home. Everybody's home. All right. We're going to do a slip stitch. This is our last petal. So if you noticed, each petal takes up 2 stitches. Come on. That's it. Okay, so double crochet and then a slip stitch. And now we're at the end. We have 6 petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Each petal has, so we did, each petal is made up of a slip stitch, a double crochet, then in the next stitch, a double crochet, a slip stitch. And we went all the way around until we have 6 stitches. And then, I should have had my scissors ready. We're going to cut the yarn, but we're going to leave a long tail so that we can sew the flower petals down. All right, so I'm going to cut and leave a long tail, pull my yarn through, and I left a much longer tail for that one than I did the first one. There we go. There are our 2 eyes. So now I'm going to show you how to work up the head, and when we get to the place where we insert the eyes, we'll see the eyes again. We're going to go on to the head. I'm going to be switching to white right now because the sugar skulls that people paint on themselves is always white. So to do that, I'm going to... Oh, okay, here it is. Take off the stitch marker. that I had put so I don't lose a stitch. I'm going to pull out up till I have those 2 loops so I could switch on. Okay, I'm just going to do another single crochet. I think that will be easier. I'll just redo this single crochet. Oh, and look at that. I had known. Look at this. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to switch colors, so I'm going to stop in this stitch before. I'll be smart. And then I forgot I did that. All right, here we are. I'm going to switch the color to white. And now we are going to work on the front loop only. And what we're going to do is we're going to do 18 increases, which means 2 double crochets into every single crochet. I mean, not double crochets. So we're going to do 2 single crochets into every single crochet there is. So let's take off our stitch marker. We're going to be working on the front loop. I find this helps define the face a little bit, the head a little bit better when you work it in the front loop. So we're going to work on the front loop. I'm going to give myself a little bit more of a tail to tie up. And we're going to work in the front loop and do 2 double crochets into every single not 2 double crochet. I keep saying double crochet for some reason. 2 single crochets into the front loop of every stitch. So I'm going to do a couple with you, and then I will let you guys do it by yourself. So we're working on the front loop, not the back loop. This time it's just the front loops. So we're going to go ahead and do 2 double crochets in every why do I keep saying double crochets? Go ahead and do 2 single crochets into every single crochet of the round. 2 single crochets. I am sorry, I'm giving you the wrong information. 2 single crochets into every single crochet. So right now we have 18 single crochets, and once we put 2 single crochets into the front loop of every single crochet, we are going to have 36 stitches. So I'm going to go off camera and finish it. Meanwhile, I'm going to go off camera and finish that off, and I'll join you when I finish. But I'm going to just take the time right now and just tie this off and cut the yarn. All right, so I'm going to tie it off so I don't have any more yarn hanging on. And we're not going to need the skin tone anymore. We won't need this top color anymore. You could put those away if you like. And meanwhile, 2 single crochets, single crochet increase, 2 single crochet into every front loop to make the first row of the head. And I will be back once we finish doing that. Okay, I have finished increasing in every stitch, and I should have 36 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So I have 36 single crochets. Now we're going to do 5 single crochet increase 6 times. So we're going to do 5 single crochet and then increase, and we're going to do it 6 times, and we'll have a total of 42. Okay, so we're going to do 5 single crochet increase. So I'm going to do the first 5 single crochet increase with you, and then I'll get back to you. So we're going to do 5 single crochet and then increase. all the way around. We're going to do it 6 times. I'll do the first set with you, and then I'll let you do the rest on your own. So we're going to go into the first one, which is right here. 1. Put my stitch marker in place. All right. 2, 3, 4, 5, increase. So you're going to continue doing 5 single crochet in and then an increase. Whoops. Just slipped right off. And then an increase in the last one, on the 6th stitch. And you're going to do that 6 single crochets until you come here. That did not make sense. You're going to do 5 single crochet increase 6 times until you get to over there. So you're going to do 5 single crochet increase, 5 single crochet increase, 5 single crochet increase 6 times, and then join me back again when you're at the end. Okay, so I finished my 5 single crochet increase, and right now I should have 42 single crochets. So we're going to go on to the next round, and that's going to be 6 single crochet increase 6 times, which means we're going to do 6 single crochets, then an increase, and then 6 single crochet, and then an increase, and then 6 single crochet, and then an increase 6 times until we're all the way back to the beginning. So I'm going to do the first set with you, and then I'll go off camera and finish off. If I could get all this. This might have been a good time for me to weave in this end. If you haven't done it already, you should do it, because it gets annoying like right now. All right, so we're going to go right here to the first single crochet and put our stitch marker back on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then our increase. 2 single crochets into the same stitch is what an increase is, in case, well, you all know that. But anyway, so we're going to continue with 6 single crochet increase. We're going to do that 5 more times for 6 times total. And at the end of this, we'll have 48 single crochets. So another 6 single crochet increase until we get back to our stitch marker, and then I'll join you then. Okay, I'm back. I have done 6 single crochet increase all the way around 6 times. And so now we're going to get to the next round. The next round, we're going to change it up a bit. Instead of increasing 6 times in the round, we're going to increase 8 times in the round. So we're going to go back to doing 5 single crochet increase, and we're going to do it 8 times until we have 56 single crochets. So we're going to do 5, then increase 8 times. So I'm going to do the first one with you. And I'm just going to make sure the right stitch. So here is my first single crochet. Put the stitch marker back. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, increase. So you're going to have more increases in this round. You're going to have 8 total. So we're going to do 5 single crochet increase all the way around until we have 56 single crochet. And after that, join me again, and then we're going to do the next round together. Okay, so I have finished doing the 5 single crochet increase 8 times, and I have now 56 single crochets. So I'm not going to do this part with you. I'm just going to tell you what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do round 63 to round 74, 1 single crochet in each stitch. So you'll do 56 single crochets per round for 12 rounds. So from round 63 to 74, you're going to do 1 single crochet in every single crochet for 12 rounds. Anyways, finish that up and then I'll meet back with you after you're done, or after I'm done. Okay, I'm back again. I finished up making the 12 rounds of single crochet. So we're going to take a little break now to place our eyes. So remember our eyes that we already made. I'm going to stick it in. Now, I am working this part of the head as I am making it, because the original one right here, I needle felted the face. So I'm not exactly sure where we're going to put the eyes, so we're going to play around a little bit, and then I will tell you what row we are in. Actually, I'm going to do that off camera. I got the eyes in. I'm going to quickly show you, although I don't know how much I can show you, the tool that I use. This is what I use, and it comes with these. So if you look, let's take one out of the back. If you look, it's got something like this. You put this up against the back of the eye, and then you hammer on to this side. And that's how I get my really stubborn eyes that don't want to get in. I got this tool from Amazon. I don't know if it's still available, but if it is, I'll try to remember to link it down below. All right, so we're going to go back to the head. Actually, take the time right now to pull in the ends and sew on the, yeah, my setup fell, well, kind of fell, almost fell, and so I had to, oh, I left too short a tail. My setup kind of fell, so I ended up resetting where the camera is, and now it's really low, the camera. It's a gooseneck tripod where you're supposed to be able to see, where I'm supposed to be able to see what I am doing through the camera, and you're supposed to be able to see, well, basically what I see. And it is very, very difficult to get just right, and I don't think I got it just right now because I keep touching the bottom. So you pull this one through. You don't have to do it with the needle, you could do it with your thing, and you sew with this one, with the long piece that you left. You sew the flower petal flat onto the eyes for both of them, and then come back and we will close off the head. Okay, so I'm back. I sewed down the eyes so that it widens and looks prettier. I have the mess all inside. I did a double knot and everything inside. It's going to stay here. As for the rest of the facial features, I prefer to do them after the head is closed out, just because, oh boy, my battery is dying. All right, I'm going to be really quick. I prefer to do it after the head is stuffed, because once the head is stuffed, nothing's going to move anymore. So we are now, if you recall, before we did the eyes, we did round 63 to 74 here. We're going to do round 75, which is 5 single crochet decrease all the way around. I am going to tell you what to do as I'm working on this. For the rest of this, I've already done row 1, 2, 3, I don't know how I did that, 4, 5, and then decrease. To me, a decrease is always an invisible decrease when I'm doing amigurumi. Anyways, you continue doing this entire row, 5 single crochet decrease. Then you're going to do 4, and you're going to, at the end of the 5 single crochet decrease, you're going to have 48 single crochets. Then the next round, which is round 76, will be 4 single crochet decrease, and you will be left with 40 single crochet. The next round after that is 3 single crochet decrease, and you'll be left with 32 single crochets. The next one is 2 single crochet decrease, and you'll be left with 24 single crochets. Then a single crochet decrease, and you're going to be left with 16. And then the last round, which is round 80, will be 8 decreases. We are decreasing by 8, so each time you're going to do something like this round is 5 single crochet decrease, you're going to do it 8 times. The next round, round 76, is 4 single crochet decrease 8 times. Round 77 is 3 single crochet decrease 8 times. Round 78 is 2 single crochet decrease 8 times. Round 79 is single crochet decrease 8 times, and of course you're going to do 8 decreases, and that's how you're going to close off the head. I like to stuff halfway around now. Like as soon as I start closing, I will start stuffing, and I will stuff in every row. I will stuff a little bit more until I'm satisfied with how the head looks. I am going to come back and show you, come back for the next part after I finish closing off the head. I'm afraid my battery's dying. Just remember, we're doing 5 single crochet decrease on round 75, and we're going to have 48 single crochets. We're doing it 8 times. Round 76 is 4 single crochet decrease 8 times, and we'll have 40 single crochets after we're done. Round 3 is 3 single crochet decrease, and we're going to have 32 single crochets when we're done. Round 78 is 2 single crochet decrease 8 times, and we'll have 24 single crochet left. Then round 79 is single crochet decrease 8 times, and we'll have 16 single crochet left, and then we're gonna do 8 decreases, and that's how we're gonna end. Cut the yarn. Don't weave in your ends just yet, because I like to use the ends to, if I decide to embroider the nose, I'll show you how to embroider the nose. Just cut the yarn and then come back. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so now we're gonna, I finished up the head. As you can see, I closed it up all the way. And my phone is charged now, so hopefully I won't have that rush again. So we're gonna actually embroider a little nose and the mouth right now and finish off the head. So what I like to do is, this is why I said don't weave in the ends. I like to go in through that hole and just come out. I'm sorry I have to go off camera because it's, even then it's not working. See my needle? It's bent. Do you see it? It's bent, and because of that, it's not coming out my way where I want it to come out. I'm going to try one more time, and if it doesn't work now, I'll turn off the camera and I'll come back when I'm ready. Oh, it worked. Alrighty then. So I have I have it coming out from here. It's in between the eyes. You could see the flowers are still there. Let me pull some more. Okay, that should be enough. All right. So you leave a little tail here for knotting the yarn later. Okay, so I'm going to count to see what round that is, so that you know. So we're going to start here. 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66. So this is on round 66. If you recall, I might have forgotten to say, the safety eyes were put in between 68 and 69. And now we're at 66. So I'm going to have to write that down. All right, I'm going to write it down later. So what we're going to do is we're just going to embroider an upside down heart. And what I'm going to do is, with my needle, I'm going to count. I want to go here. Like, do I want to do 2? I think I'm going to do it over 2 rows, the hat. No, so I'm going to put it 1 stitch over. So here's our thing. So 1 stitch over and 2 rows down. And I'm just going to look at it from real life to make sure that I'm seeing it right. Okay, and then you're going to come out the same place as you were in. And just pull pull the yarn through. I think I might have cut too big a piece of yarn for this. Okay, so we're going to do it again, except instead of going to the right, we're going to go to the left. Same thing, 1 stitch over here, and then 2 stitches down. And we're going to come out again at the same place as we started off with. Right there. So now we should have like an upside down triangle. So we're not going to close off that triangle, but we're going to do the same thing a couple more times. I hate it when the stuffing comes out of it. I'm going to maybe 3 times, so two more times on this side. 1, 2. Again, we're always coming out the same stitch as we started off in, and we're going into the same stitch as we kind of sketched out earlier. So one side is done. Now I'm going to do this side, which means I'm going to go through this stitch that we've already sketched out and put it coming out the stitch that we originally put our yarn through, and do it one more time so that we have it 3 times, and then we've got our nose. All right, so I'm going to actually go here for the mouth. So for the mouth, I'm going to put my needle here. I like doing it upside down sometimes because it helps me. Let me just count. We are 1 hole away from this side of the nose, so we want to go right here. How many stitches is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so what we're going to do is count 1, 2, 3 and come out right here 3 stitches away from where our needle is going in. We make sure the yarn is under the needle like this, and we just pull it. So you see how it kind of catches here. If you hadn't made sure that the yarn was under, it would have gone like that, which isn't what we want. So we're going to go back into the same stitch we came out in, just to reinforce our little mouth. And let's get you out from there. I've seen people who wrap their dolls in saran wrap when they're embroidering, and I always feel like I'm very aware of the environment and the fact that we have limited resources, and if we spend so much plastic, not that I don't use plastic, don't get me wrong, I mean, I use plastic all the time. It's a part of our life, but you need to reduce, I feel like we need to reduce the amount of plastic we're using. And wrapping it up in plastic is not reducing anything. Okay, so I'm going to come out 1 stitch over. So I'm right here. This is where I'm making like the stitchy looking eyes, and I hope this works. Sometimes I have to do it a couple times. You might actually like to make yeah, that didn't work. You might actually want to make the mouth with embroidery thread instead of yarn like I'm using. I'm using DK yarn here. Maybe embroidery thread would be a better idea, but I'm going to try again with the DK yarn to see how it works out. I did not like that one, so I'm going to go down 1 stitch. You could also use a sharp needle, which this is not, and kind of embroider on top of the stitches instead of through the stitches. Yikes. Here we are. That might work better too. I don't know. This looks really big. Let's try it. I think we're going to have to use embroidery floss for the rest of it. I'm going to let it go. But basically when you use embroidery floss, you're just going to make lines like this. I don't have any embroidery floss here, so I'm going to just pause and go get some. Okay, I'm back. Let's finish off with this. We don't need this yarn anymore. Should I keep them out with the thick yarn? I don't think I will. I'm actually going to take them out apart. Alright, so I took them out apart. I'm going to be able to use this yarn for something else, I think. If I'm going to be embroidering another nose or something. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just take it, lead it up to the top, to that hole where we started off from, if I can do that. Oops. And I'm going to tie a knot here. And snip the yarn. Alright, so we got that done. That's what it looks like now. I'm going to push this in later on. Before I weave the ends in, I will be pushing that into the head. Alright, so we're going to go back here. So with this yarn, I would like to put it from the top, but the needle isn't big enough. I'm using a sharper embroidery needle. This is not a tapestry needle at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into a hole from the side. With sharper needles, this is partly why I don't like using sharper needles. You have to be really careful to actually be coming out of a hole at this particular point. And that's because, you know, I'm going to go a little further down so that if I am not coming from a hole, then at least I can hide it with the hair later. Do you see that? I can't get the needle out. Ah, where are you? In the wrong place. See that? See, because it's sharp, it goes out in between stitches instead of inside. And that's why I usually use the embroidery thread carefully. I always use pliers, by the way. That's why my needles are bent, because it just helps me. I don't want to, you know, I could buy new needles very easily, but the hand hurting for like hours, it's not worth it. I'll just buy new needles. I don't buy very expensive needles for that reason, because I kind of abuse my needles. All right, so we're gonna go back. Again, we're 2 stitches or 1 stitch away from the nose. So we're gonna go 1 stitch away from the nose this side. Make sure we're in the same, see, there you go. I'm in between stitches there. I find it working with the sharper needle just a little harder, but here we are. This is another case of me cutting up too long a piece of yarn. All right, so we're gonna anchor this so it stays like that, and then move off to the side. Now we don't care where it comes out. We want it. We want the mouth to look approximately like it's got stitches on it. Almost there. So I wouldn't recommend cutting as long a yarn as me, especially if you're new to embroidery. And although these little bits that I've done is fairly easy, long yarns like this gets really annoying really quickly. All right. So as you can see, I'm not like worried about the stitches anymore. And because I have a sharper needle, I don't need to worry about going into the stitches. I could go anywhere I want. And I think for this, ooh, I hope that fixes up. Yeah, that's fine. That looks okay, right? you need the sharp needle to be able to get into wherever you want to, instead of going into one of the natural holes that crochet makes. You need the sharp needle to help you go through whatever it is you need to get into. I don't know if you guys use pliers. I use pliers all the time. Like, it's always in my crochet kit. Like, whatever bag I have one crochet bag where I keep all my crochet accessories, and that stays outside. It doesn't go inside a project bag. It stays outside a project bag, and I use it all the time in different ways. I wish the light was better. My light is right here, right there, so you can see it nicely if I tilt this way, but this way it's kind of in the shadows. And here's what it is. So this is like just going back and forth, back and forth. So I'm doing one stitch going up and one stitch going on the bottom. Again, this is why you want to have a shorter a shorter thread when you're doing this. All right. I'm going to do one, maybe more than one. Let's see how it looks. I'm going to go two more this way, and then I'll do one more on that side because I feel like I started a little late. All right. One more. So right now all we have to do is go up, and I want to bring the needle so it comes out as close to possible to here. If it's messy over here, it's not a big problem because we're going to cover it with hair. But let me just, let's get it as close. Whoops, that's not as close as possible. Okay. I guess that's where it's gonna fall. It's okay if it's not messy, because that's why I went all the way over there, because that part is going to be covered in hair. This, by the way, if you are wondering, is yarn, not embroidery floss. It's a Cartopo crystal yarn, and it is super thin. 2 of these, you're supposed to crochet it like this with 2 held together, and that makes up fingering weight yarn. It's super thin, and I like making it. I just feel like it looks better than when you're using embroidery floss, but you can use whatever you like. All right, so I'm going to cut this. And get my regular tapestry needle, which is easier to use because you're not piercing your work out. Put both ends through, go back into the hole that is closest to that, just pull it out somewhere else. And there we go. So now I'm going to just push this down. Where's my hook? There it is. I'm going to push down this black yarn into the hole and close off the top. So how do you close off the top? I do have, if you want to reference this for another video, I do have a video on just how to close off the top in my amigurumi tips and tricks playlist. But basically you take your needle, go to the next stitch, and working from the inside, push it out and just pull it like this. All right, so I'll show you, well, 5 more times. Or no, this is 8. I'll show you 7 more times. And you just continue doing like that. Oh my gosh, I keep hitting the back of the tripod. That's how close you are to this work. I hope that everyone can see everything clearly. You are so close that when I bring my hand even a little higher than this, you... Yeah, I keep hitting the back of the camera. I am sorry if that's making you dizzy. I'm going to try not to. No, I did it again. I apologize. Ah, again. Jeez, I'm going to do the last one off camera so I don't hit you. All right, so here I am doing the last one. There we go. It's all closed. I've got it all. It's not closed up. You just tug it tight. And there you go. So what I usually do if I'm making dolls is I use this tail to make the nose. And since I'm going to do this. There's a little hole here, but you don't need to worry about that because it's going to get covered by hair. I'm going to tie a little knot over here. I'm going off camera so I don't hit the back of the thing. So this is a little knot just so that it doesn't come loose. And then go back into the same stitch, pull it out somewhere else, tug to make the knot go in. And there we go. We cut that off. And that is how we finish off the head. There she is, all done. All right, next we're going to work on the skirt. I'm going to just pause the video because I'm not sure how many parts I'm going to do this. So I'm going to make sure I have a separate video for the skirt just in case it's not in the same video. I'll be back soon.